Okay, welcome back. This video covers powers of 10 and unit prefixes. So we have these prefixes, and you'd recognise kilo. That's one of the most common ones. So you would have recognised kilometers or kilograms. And we know that when we have a little k in front of the m for meters or k in front of the g for grams, that means 1,000 of those things. So it's 1,000 meters and 1,000 grams. And we can rewrite 10 to the 3 as 1.0 times 10 to the 3. And we should know that that is going to be equal to 1,000. So what we can do is move this decimal place 1, 2, 3, and we put zeros in there. So that is equal to 1,000. So that shouldn't be too new for you. What might be new is something like this. So this is the milli, and again, we're familiar with, say, millimeters or milligrams as well, and that means 1,000th of a meter and 1,000th of a gram. So it's like dividing 1 meter up by 1,000 or dividing a gram up by 1,000 as well. So we can rewrite this just like we did before, 1.0 times 10 to negative 3. But we can rewrite this again. This is the same as saying 1.0 divided by 10 to the 3. So this is change it into our familiar 10 to the 3, which we know is 1,000, but we're dividing by it instead of timesing. And so if you see a negative one, what you can do is you can go the other way. So see how we, in the kilogram, we added the 3 decimal places after it, or 3 zeros after the 1. This time we go back the other way, so it's 1, 2, 3. So we'd write that is equal to 0. So our decimal point is here, 0, 0, 1. So 0, 0, 1, like that. And that's kind of like an easy way. You can also put it into your calculator if you have it that way. But I like writing it in this notation because we'll look at scientific notation, and this is kind of like the standard scientific notation when we have a number times by 10 to the power of some order of magnitude. So we often have to convert from one prefix to another. So we might have to go from, say, kilometers to meters or meters to kilometers. And it just depends on what is most convenient at the time. So obviously sometimes it's easy to work in grams. You might work in grams when you cook. But then other times it's easy to work in kilograms because we've got too many grams or whatever situation it is. So to convert from one prefix to another, we first need to find the difference between the powers. For example, mega to milli, the difference is 10 to the power of 9. So if we look at mega up here, this is the sign for mega, and it's 10 to the 6, and then milli is 10 to the negative 3. So the difference between those two is 10 to the 9. And what you can do is you can look at the prefixes, so you can go 6 minus, so we've got our 6 there, minus a minus 3, so it's minus negative 3, and that's equal to 9, and that's how we get our little 9 there as well. And then you can multiply it by the difference. Okay, so whatever our number was, we say multiply by times by 10 to the 9. Okay, multiply by the difference. So we'll start off by converting 1 kilonewton to newtons. Okay, so we've got 1 kilonewton, so we've got K. So we can do this process here if we like. There's 10 to the 3 to 10 to the 0. So remember 10 to the 0, that is equal to 1. 10 to the 0 is equal, anything to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So our difference is going to be 3, 10 to the 3. So we've got 1 times 10 to the 3 newtons, which is equal to 1,000 newtons, like that. Okay, 34 gigawatts to kilowatts. So giga, if we look up here, 10 to the 9 to kilowatts, there's a difference of 10 to the 9 to 3, so there's a difference of 6. So we say 34 gigawatts, and this is probably a better way of setting it out, is equal to 34 times 10 to the 6 kilowatts. And we can write that out in full as 34 with 6 zeros after it. So it's 34 million kilowatts. Okay, convert 0.74 amps to milliamps. Okay, so an amp is like our 10 to the 0 again, so that's our base unit. And then the milliamp is 1,000th of that. So if we wanted to, we could say, we could go 10 to the 0 to 10 to the negative 3, and we could say that is 0 minus a minus 3. So therefore, the difference is 10 to the 3. Okay, so that means that 0.74 amps equals 0.74 times 10 to the 3 milliamps, which is equal to, if we move our decimal place 3 spots, so 1, 2, 3, it's going to be 740 milliamps. Okay, and you can also do that in your calculator as well. Okay, and for some reason this has come down here, so I'll just delete that. Convert 1500 microvolts to millivolts. So in all these first three, we went from a larger value, or a larger prefix, to a smaller prefix, but this time we're going from a smaller prefix, microvolts, so the microvolts, 10 to the negative 6 is going to milli, 10 to the negative 3, so this time we have negative 6 minus a minus 3 is equal to minus 3. So that means that 1500 microvolts is equal to 1500 times 10 to the negative 3 millivolts. Okay, so that is equal to 1.5 times, just 1.5 actually. Let's go back there, delete that one. 1.5 millivolts. So we've just had it, if we have a decimal place here, we've moved it back 1, 2, 3 to there. Okay, between that 1 and the 5. Similarly, for converting 260 centimeters to meters, we're going from 10 to the negative 2 to 10 to the 0. So then the difference is negative 2 minus 0, which is going to be equal to negative 2. Okay, simple. So we've got 260 centimeters. Actually, I'm going to put that bit down the bottom. Okay, is equal to 260 times 10 to the negative 2 meters, which is equal to 2.6 meters. Okay, I'll just put underline there and underline there as well to show they're different. Okay, and now there's some problems for you to do. Oops, and that's going down there. Don't want that to happen, so put that back up here somewhere. Okay, so now you've got some problems down here, and there's answers on the back of this sheet.